All right, hey everybody. In this video, we are going to discuss strategies to increase your gauntlet rankings so that not only do you end the gauntlet with a higher ranking, but also maximize your rewards and gauntlet coins. Before we get started, however, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And more importantly, because I have posted 4 free codes in the last couple of days, I highly recommend hitting that notification bell if you want to be sure to get those codes and use them before they expire or hit their limit. This way you'll be amongst the first to get them. All right, so before we get started talking about strategies, first let's take a look at the various rankings and the rewards that come along with them. So we'll go ahead and hit the present icon up here, and we'll start with novice. So here you guys can see, we'll run through these pretty quick. You can see with novice level, if you end on that, you're going to get 600 gauntlet coins, 300 tokens, and then 4 S packs. If you end on rookie, you're going to get 2,000 gauntlet coins, 550 tokens, and 6 S packs. Pro, you are going to get 3,200 gauntlet coins, 900 tokens, and 8 S packs. Now you can also see if you just look up above that, it says ranking. It shows you Pro, for example, is 1,200 to 1,300. Basically, they just go up by 100 points each ranking. Let's move on. Elite, you're going to get 4,400 gauntlet coins and 1,200 tokens and 10 S packs. And then lastly, with Master, you're going to get 5,400 gauntlet coins, 1,500 tokens, and 12 S packs. One thing to note with this is, let's just go back to rookie. You're almost always going to end on rookie. Okay, that's just should be a given the strategies we're going to talk about. But you can see that you get the 2,000 gauntlet coins. It's not a huge difference in the amount of gauntlet coins that you get from one to the next. So that part is something we'll talk a little bit more about later in the video, and how to decide what strategies you're going to use. All right, let's move on to the rank rewards. These are a little bit more significant. So the lowest rank reward is falling into the top 500, as you can see here. So with that, you're going to get 5,000 gauntlet coins, 350 tokens, and then just the S pack. And the next level up is in the top 250. This is a significant increase. This is where this part matters a little bit more. This is going to get you 12,000 gauntlet coins, 600 tokens, and 2 S packs. Now, the next step up is top 100, and you can see that that is going to give you 16,000 gauntlet coins, 900 tokens, and 3 S packs. And then they just go up from there. I'm not going to go through each one of these. I'll let you guys take a look at this. Really, once you start getting into the top 50, top 25, and higher, you're really going to have to be doing really, really well in the gauntlet, and you're probably going to have to have a pretty solid garage in that case. So really, our focus is going to mainly just be at least getting, as far as the rank rewards goes here, hopefully falling into the top 100. And these really just are going to go kind of hand in hand. So, really the better you're doing in your league rewards or league ranking is going to coincide with your rank rewards. All right, so let's go ahead and we will go back. Okay, so the most important thing here, strategy-wise, is, again, going to be using this challenge log. So the sent and received challenges and going to receive challenges, and using this log to maximize your wins. Now, I discussed this very thoroughly in the last video that talked about sandbagging. So if you guys haven't seen that video, I'd highly recommend going back and watching that. I will try to post a card in the upper right-hand corner right here, right now. So you guys can go watch that right now if you'd like and come back to this video. I'll also post it in the description below. Okay, so again, this is the screen where we can go through and look at all of the challenges we have received. And this allows us to, when we click on them, we can select Revenge, and we can now see at least the track. We know that it's one of 2 tracks based on the icons up here. We know it's one of 2 tracks, and we can see their times. And this allows us to go through and see which of our cars we know can beat those times. And this is where this number one strategy I'm going to give you really comes into play. And that number one strategy is keeping track of your track times and the cars that you've used. And for me, the best way I found to do this is with a spreadsheet. Now, it doesn't sound like fun, but honestly, once you get started with it, I have actually kind of found it a little bit fun and enjoyable. You can use a pen and paper and just write your times down and keep track of things that way. But I highly recommend using something like Excel, or I use Google Sheets, which is completely free. Everybody can use it. Let me show that to you. Okay, so here's a look at how I organize my spreadsheet. First, you want to have a column with your tracks, and then your times, the cars that you're using, and then any notes that you may want to add to benefit how you did on that track or that race. So the other thing is, as I've said before, that this strategy is something that everybody can use. I would highly recommend creating a set of base times that are all done with touch drive. Plus, you'll know that way that those should be consistent times. And then once you have that, you can go ahead and start keeping track of your manual drive times. It's also a good idea to have a range of times. So, always keep track of your best time, and then also maybe keep track of times that you get that aren't quite as good. So you can kind of see here, I have these times where my best time was 31.866, and then my time that wasn't quite as good was 32.007. And then also I have a note here, I could have maybe done better for these reasons. And that one just happens to be a note on my manual drive time. Another thing that is really important to note is whether or not you have that car overclocked. So, here's an example of it's a Twister. I got this time here, I put a little asterisk next to it. And basically for me, that just means that car was overclocked, and that was my ranking with overclock. Here's another one where I just put overclocked and the time on there. But you want to make sure that you're doing that, because if you don't, and you have a time on there that's really good, and you go to use that car for that track down the road, and you don't have a note that it was overclocked, and it's now not overclocked, you're not going to get that time, and you're not going to get that same performance with that time you had noted. So very important to note that. Okay, so this is just generally how I do mine. You guys can kind of get a look here. I'll scroll through a little bit more slowly, but you don't need to go crazy with this either. It's not like you need to keep track of every single one of your cars. I use probably the same 7 cars for pretty much every race. So mostly this list is just a list of my top 7 cars, basically. And they're going to be like the Cyan. My Valkyrie is one of my top cars. And then you can kind of just see on the list. I don't need to run through all of those either. But in any case, you'll pick yours and just jot down these notes. And this is going to be your number one strategy. So I'll show you how I put this to use. All right, so I'm sure it's already self-explanatory at this point, but I'm going to show you guys just how exactly I use this. So right now we are on the main Gauntlet page. I'm going to go ahead and select Sent and Received Challenges here at the top. We'll go to Received. I've already taken a look at these to save a little time. We're going to choose this one right here, Horus. So I'm going to hit Revenge. And then here we can see the cars and times that this individual has. And then you can see, of course, all the icons. So we know it's between just 2 separate tracks. So I'm going to pull up my sheets here, my spreadsheet. And we'll start with the first one, which I call that Shanghai. I know these aren't... I've nicknamed these just by what the icon looks like to me. So, that one I call Shanghai, that one I call Cup, this one I call Triangle. You get the point. So, let's see here. So that he has a time of 28.4. That's probably not double roundabout. I doubt he could get that time with that CC XR. So that one is going to be Paris of the East, most likely. and I can beat that with my Valkyrie. Even my Solus probably gets a little bit of a better time. But just to be safe, I probably would pick my Valkyrie for that race. Okay, so I'm going to just say I've used the Valkyrie for that race. Let's go to Cup. Let's see. So that's going to be probably hairpin finish is what that is. Again, I can beat that with my Valkyrie, as you guys can see here. I get a time of 35.1. And remember, these are all touch drive times. And that's what I recommend that you do. Again, just so that you know, hey, these are solid times. I can beat that with touch drive. And his time is 36.97. So I've already used my Valkyrie, though, like I said, for that last race. Let's see. My Solus gets 36.2. That's pretty good. And you know, my average is to 0.5. So I feel pretty comfortable with that. I think I would go ahead. I will pick the Solus for that race. So I got those first two, most likely one. Triangle, that's either going to be right here, Jazeera Island, which I doubt he got that bad of a time, or they got that bad of a time on that. So it's probably King's Revival. And looks like I would need my Solus for that, probably. My Valkyrie, I've only done that one time with manual drive. That car is fairly new to me, so I haven't used it a ton. So I could probably beat that with either of those two cars, but I'm already using those. And then my Vanda, I have maxed out my golded my Vanda since probably these times, so that might be able to beat it too. But I'm going to go ahead and maybe make that one a scratch. Let's take a look at the last two here. So Capital could either be La Boca. He has a time of 26.9. Again, there's no way that that's La Boca. He could not do that fast. So that would make it Water Run. And I can beat that with my Valkyrie, of course. And I can also beat that with the Vanda, or even my Bugatti. So, all right, so there's three probably one races. Let's take a look at the last one. I call that Icon Beach. So that is going to either be Resort Dash. Again, no, I highly doubt they got that bad of a time on Resort Dash. So that is going to make it Hell Vale. I don't know how you say that. I usually actually call it Hell Valley when I'm talking to myself in my head, but Hell Vale. And I can definitely beat that with the Valkyrie. And it looks like I can beat it with the Vanda, and I can also beat that with the Cyan. So, and even my Bugatti, almost every car I have can beat that time. So, all my usual cars. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select my cars for this race, and I'll match them up each individually. I'll pick the times that give me the best gap, and then I'll come back, I'll show that to you, and I'll show you guys the results. All right, so all these were pretty much exactly as expected, with one surprise, and thankfully the surprise worked in my favor. But Paris of the East, as you can see, was what we expected. I picked my Valkyrie. This was hairpin finish. I chose the Solus for that. And then this turned out to be Jazeera Island. And I got to say, guys, if you don't have a better car than that Mustang, almost everything beats that, even all the B cars. So I highly recommend choosing another car. But I'm even just going to use my Grand Sport for that. I'll beat that no problem. And then Water Run, I'm using the Vanda. And then lastly, Hell Vale, I'm using the Cyan. So I'm going to go ahead and run these races. I'll show you guys the results. Okay, so here you can see my times. I would have won every single one of these races if I wanted to, but I'm still going to sandbag, keep my rank a little bit lower. I have a few other opponents picked out, and if I get my rank too high, they're not going to be 5-glove wins anymore. So, but yeah, I won those first 3 races, and then I intentionally lost the last 2. So let's just take a look here, see what my ranking is. And that did bump me up to rookie. Let's see what my rank is at the moment. All right, so just barely up into rookie here. My rank is now at 1103. So I think probably tomorrow I will go ahead and start making a push to get up to some higher ranks. So you can see right now we have 3 days and 6 hours left in the gauntlet. So I will show you guys probably starting tomorrow a little bit of making the push to increase, and we'll head for pro and elite and see if we can at least land on elite. Okay, so it's the next day. If you guys remember from the last clip, we had 3 days and 6 hours remaining in the gauntlet. Now you can see we have 2 days and 4 hours remaining. I also had 4 out of those 5 races still left to complete in that round. And you can see that I am now starting off with the new round. I still have 5 of the 5 races to go. My current rank after completing those that last round is 1,117. I'm still just following the plan of sandbagging. If I click on improved time here, you can see I'm still using those sandbagging cars. So we'll go back. At this point now, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to sandbag our times for the next 2 rounds. After we've completed the second to last round, we're going to go ahead and improve our times to lock those in. That will help us to keep our rank, and I kind of dissuade anybody from wanting to challenge us as we just build up our rank. So the thing to keep in mind here when we look at the math is, again, right now I have 1,117 rank. If we want to get up to pro, we need to be in the 1200s range. Okay. If we want to be at elite, we need to be in the 1300 range. Now, just remember that we're choosing 5 glove races still. So that's still the plan. We're still following that plan that we had. If we're choosing 5 glove races, those are going to be 30 points if we win all 5 races. In some cases, there'll be 40 points if we win all 5 races. So for that round, like this round I have coming up, for example, I still have 5 races to run. I'm going to pick all 5 glove races. And if I win all the races, that'll give me 150 points to add to this. That's going to get me really close to elite just even after this round. So I am going to see how this goes. I'll see if I get challenges and if it drops my score, but I'm probably going to start winning more than 3 races at this point just to solidify staying in this kind of hopefully more mid-range rookie zone. And then that way, in the next round, I'm going to win all the races to, again, gain up. It should put me into pro, no problem. And then I'm going to change those times or improve my times. And then that final round, I'm going to try to win all my races, all 5 races for all 5 rounds. And that should push me up into elite. And if you're kind of lucky enough, because this isn't fully in our hands, I mean, you're going to get challengers and that's just out of your control. But technically, we can still get 450 points, technically, by winning all those races. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this next round. I will check back in with you guys tomorrow and show you where we're at, and we'll keep moving on with this strategy. Okay, here we are, second to the last round. You can see that there is 1 day and 11 hours left in this round of the gauntlets. I completed all those last races, so I'm just waiting for the next round to begin. There are 2 rounds left. Let's go ahead. I want to show you something here. This is a little trick that you guys can use. First, I want to show you what I have. I'm looking at my received, and there's this race down here, the I'll Be Back name. I want to click on that. He has a pretty good ranking of 1201. I want to be able to race that or save that before it drops off of that list. And also I'm hoping that he'll challenge me back, and I'll get to challenge him again in a later race because he has a good ranking. What you can do here in this case, because I don't have any, tokens left, and I want to actually save this too for the next round that starts. You can go ahead and click on Revenge. I think it's worth it in this case. I'm going to go ahead and buy this ticket for 40 tokens. Okay, and now what I can do is I can go ahead and select Revenge on this. And basically this should save this for me until the next round starts. And the upside here is that I will then have this race that I can win all 5 of these on. And I'll still have 5 full races left out of 5 in that round. So it doesn't use one of your races in that round. It's gonna save those. So another little trick that you guys can use, you can use it anytime throughout the gauntlet. I highly recommend doing that in opportunities like this. Okay, so you guys can see that I just finished that race I had saved. I got 24 points towards my ranking. Let's go ahead and we'll hit next here. There you can see I got the 5 gloves. And the most important thing to remember with this is do not start that race until the next round has started and your 5 races have refreshed. That's when you want to start that round. It can be just a couple minutes after, it can be later than that, but you want to wait for that. So there's those 5 gloves you can see, and I still have 5 out of the 5 races. So little trick you guys can use to maximize your races. All right, so as you guys can see, I still have 3 out of the 5 races left in this second to last round. My current ranking is at 1172. Normally I would probably wait until I had maybe even just 1 race left to go ahead and improve my sandbagging times. But I keep getting challengers and they're dropping my score. So I think I'm going to have to go ahead and improve my time right now. So this is something you guys have to keep an eye on. Plus, I do have at least one challenge that I know I'm going to be able to do in my challenge log here. And I'm going to go ahead and win every race on that. So it'll give me the 30 points. Should at least get me up just into the pro league, pro division. And then from there, I'm going to just try to win all of my races to start building up those points once I've improved my time. So I'm going to go ahead and improve my time, and we'll continue back with the strategy. Okay, I ran all my times. I'm really happy with the times that I got. As you can see, I even beat my previous 2 times with my Valkyrie and my Cyan. So I'm going to go ahead and submit these. Okay, now hopefully we'll be able to hold our rank from here. Like I said before, this is a little bit out of our hands. If everything goes as planned, we'll be able to just win races without getting too many more challenges at this point because of building up our times. But you never know. I mean, if we just get challenges with people that have, better garages, then there's nothing we can do. But we should certainly be able to end this on pro. I'm going to shoot for elite, however. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this round. I have 2 races left. I'm going to try to now at this point, now that you've improved your times and you're no longer sandbagging, now you're going to try to win every race to build up your rank score. So that's what we're going to do moving forward, and I will check back in with you guys to let you know how it's going. Okay, so I've just finished my last round for my last race, I should say, for this second to last round. So I'll show you, as I mentioned, the strategy was going to be, we're going to win all the races at this point. I did get that plus 30 for winning all those in this race. Let's just see where we stand here. Gave me all my gloves. I only needed 2, but of course we won all of those. That was a 5 glove race. And we got our 22. We're up into pro. Again, so far everything is going as planned. I do wish I was a little bit higher into the pro rank right now. Unfortunately, because I was getting so many challenges towards the end here, I probably lost like a whole race. I was hoping to be a little bit closer to the kind of mid range here, so closer to 1250 than 1220. But I think that's okay, really, as long as we get some good challenge options here coming up. We can still technically, if we do all 5 glove races, which is, they're 30 points at this point, I should say, all 30 point races, technically we can still gain 150 points, which would put us well into elite. And, really we'll probably even select some easier races that are 20 points and that sort of thing along the way here. But in any case, I will again keep you guys updated into the next round, and hopefully we can land this thing into elite. All right, so unfortunately, this last round has not gone as planned, and really it's just because once I changed my sandbagging scores, or improved my sandbagging scores, I just did not get hardly any challenges at all. I really only got 2 challenges, and then up until about 2 minutes ago, I got my 3rd challenge. If we go to the received challenges here, my problems really started yesterday in the last round when I told you guys that I was just getting challenges that were dropping my score right as I was getting ready to improve my scores. And it started with this one right here. And you can just see that, unfortunately, with this one, it dropped my ranking 20 points. So that one hurt. And then the one I got after that wasn't so bad, which was this one right here. This was the last one of the day yesterday. And it only dropped my ranking 6 points, but that's fine. So that one you kind of expect. And then once I changed my scores, the first race I got, I actually won. So that's this green one here. Nomad won that one. And then and so unfortunately I can't challenge that individual back because I ended up winning that challenge. And then this one here, unfortunately they beat me on all the races. They have a better garage than they have. They have the Stratadale, the Gemera, the Rimac, the Nevera Time Attack. They have the Glickenhaus 007S. So they just have a much stronger garage than I have. So yeah, that was unfortunate. And this is the one I just got. I haven't even looked at it yet. But they beat me on 4 of those races. And they, again, have a pretty decent lineup of cars there. So, yeah, unfortunately, guys, this last round just did not go as planned. And that's actually pretty rare. I assure you guys this strategy does work. I was really hoping to fall into elite here. But it looks like we're going to end up at pro. Now, if I was close, which I'm just not, I would go ahead and I'd probably refresh or pay for some challenges. But I'm just not close enough to do that. So, in any case, we'll end up landing on pro here. And this is a lot harder. I got to say, guys, this is a lot harder at Division 5. If you're in any of the lower divisions, this strategy is going to work a lot easier. Unfortunately, I am in Division 5, and I'm going against opponents with much heavier and better garages than I have. I have just kind of a B ranked heavy garage, not even heavy, but I'll show you guys just so you guys know what I'm working with here. And hopefully that it's something close to you are, and you know that you can do this on the lower divisions, and you can still do this at the Division 5. I've had good luck with this in Division 5, so it does work. But my main lineup is the McLaren Solus. That's a go-to car for me. I win a lot of races with that, even against a lot of S cars. I don't use the Invincible a whole lot, but it probably falls into my top 9 cars for the Gauntlet. The Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spider. Again, I don't use that one a lot, but it's going to fall into my top 9. My another big contender here is the Vanda. So that's going to be in my, probably top 3 cars that I'm using along with the Solus. And then moving on to, and you can see, guys, I do not have a massive garage here. When I move on, my Valkyrie is probably my top performer. I can beat a lot of cars with that. Whether it's touch drive or manual drive, that car performs really well. I have a good Evo tune on it. And then, from there, the Cyan, that's going to fall into my top 5, along with the Solus, the Vanda, and the Valkyrie. And then probably lastly is the Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport. So, those are my top cars. And then the only one I tend to use is the Bugatti Bolide for freefall. That's about the only thing I use it for, but it wins a lot of freefall races. So that's what I'm working with, you guys. So it is pretty tough for me once I start getting into this upper pro and then into the elite rankings. But I will say, more importantly, it's great, when you can get elite. It's cool. But the better thing really is, when you get into these rank rewards, you just want to make sure that you're in the top 250, ideally. Top 100, I have hit a few times. I have not ever been in the top 50, at least not in Division 5, I should say. So, yeah. If you can get at least here, this is going to be a lot better for you as far as, the gauntlet coins and that sort of thing, rather than falling into this just top 500. And then the league rewards, we're going to be in pro. As we mentioned before, not a huge difference between that and elite, ultimately. It's pretty nominal. So in any case, guys, don't let my results here in this final round dissuade you from trying this technique or this strategy. It really comes down to that spreadsheet. That is where it's going to really help you. You're going to be able to look at your times, pretty much guarantee your races. And unfortunately, this final round, I couldn't do it at all. I didn't have one chance to do that ultimately. I had to go blind and use this challenge option for everything. So it was rough. But in any case, hopefully you guys learned a little bit and enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. I have been posting quite a few free redemption codes in video shorts. So if you want to be sure to get those before they expire or their quota gets used up, please hit the notification bell so you get notifications on those videos as soon as they come out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.